This 65 lakh rupee luxury car is now available for just 18 lakh rupees in the used car market. And you think, this is a German-made high-quality car, right? I mean, look at those features. So if you account for the down payment, the EMI, the interest, and all these costs, does that 18 lakh look a lot bigger in actual cost? So I did the math to figure out if you should buy a new car for 18 lakh rupees or a used luxury car for the same price. So let's analyze these two cars using these 4 parameters, starting with the EMI. The Audi is a 6-year-old luxury used car and the Creta is a brand new car. Now both of these cars cost 18 lakh rupees. We assume the loan to value to be 80% for both cars. This is basically how big a loan value you get for the ex-showroom cost. But in reality, you'll actually have to pay a lot more because the LTV will be lower for a luxury used car. But just to keep the calculations fair, let's assume it's 80%. The down payment is 3.6 lakhs. Which brings our loan amount to 14.4 lakh rupees. Now there's one thing that changes a lot, and that's the interest rate. Now depending what bank you take it from, you will pay more in interest rate when you buy a used luxury car. And this could be 4 to 5% more than the actual Creta. So let's say the used car is 14.5% interest and the new car's interest is 9.5%. Now let's talk about the tenure of the loan. We've kept it at 5 years for both cars, but used car loans typically capped at 3 to 5 years versus up to 7 years for a new car loan. Now the used Audi A4 EMI is about 34,000 rupees and the new Hyundai Creta SX Tech is 30,000 rupees. So that makes the total repayment cost 20.3 lakhs for the Audi and 18.14 lakhs for the Creta. So here you're paying 2.18 lakh rupees more simply because the interest rate is higher. Now before we move on to the next parameter, I want you to do 2 things. 1, write your luxury car option and your new car option, submit it in the comments. And second, complete the entire exercise on Excel and then reply to your own comment on what changed. Let's see if you changed your mind or if it was the same. This brings us to parameter number 2, which is the running cost of the car. And I love this one because koi sochta hi nahi iske bare mein. No one thinks about it. Now you've bought a luxury car. I mean, you're gonna drive it around, you're gonna go for trips, you're gonna go with parents and family, and you're just gonna enjoy the damn car. That's why you bought it, right? But there's one thing you probably don't know, which is mileage. Needless to say, as the machine becomes older, the mileage, the efficiency actually decreases. Some reports say up to 2% every single year. So a 6-year-old Audi, which was giving say 16 kmph, may now give you 14. These are obviously not real numbers because I do not drive a used Audi. On the other hand, a new car, and in this case the Hyundai Creta, seems to be giving a lot more mileage, 17 to 18 kilometers a liter. So obviously, fuel efficiency wise, the Creta is going to be cheaper when it comes to running costs of the car. Now let's say you travel 50 kilometers every day for 300 days. The total distance traveled in a year is about 15,000 kilometers. So now let's assume the cost of petrol is 100 rupees a liter. And to make this trip, you'll need about 1,000 liters for the Audi and about 880 liters for the Creta. That means you'll be spending about 19,000 rupees extra every year because you're driving the Audi. Now, to be fair, I don't think that's a lot, but we'll still keep it on the Excel sheet. Now let's talk about the boring bit, the maintenance cost. So when you're driving, it's actually going to start costing a little more because the wear and tear happens. Now, how do you actually calculate wear and tear? We'll calculate. So let's assume you drive the car 15,000 kilometers a year. Now you have a 6-year-old car and we have to assume that it's traveled a little bit. And our scriptwriter assumed that 42,000 is a good number. So let's stick to that. And let's also assume that both cars get serviced only twice a year. The Audi will obviously cost a little more, and one service for an Audi is 22,000 rupees, and that amounts to 44,000 rupees. And the new car's service will be absolutely free because in most cases, any new car you buy will have the first few services free. So over here, you'll see that we've included things like engine oil filter, air filter, coolant, 10,000 for the Audi, and 5,000 for the Creta. Another problem is the cost of repairs and the parts for a luxury car. They cost way more. So over here we've added 70,000 rupees for a front bumper, and replacing a headlight could cost up to 43,000 rupees. So I've assumed an average of 50,000 rupees a year for stuff that needs to be replaced. But the spare parts for the new car will comparatively be cheaper. One headlight replacement costing 20,000 and a door repair amounting to say 14,000 rupees. So I've assumed an average of 20,000 rupees of these expenses every year. You'll notice I've overestimated this a little bit, but you can obviously tone it down, change it in the Excel sheet. So now let's add up the total annual cost. It's 25,000 rupees for the new car and 1 lakh for the used luxury car. It's a 4x difference. Most people actually completely miss this, but if you knew it, then give yourself a pat on the back. The third parameter is insurance. So over here you see the insurance declared value is the value that the insurer tells you how much your car is worth. And everything is calculated on the base of that. For a new car, it's about 95% of the ex-showroom price. The new car's IDV is 17.10 lakhs and the Audi A4's IDV is the same as how much you bought it for because the depreciation is included, that's 18 lakh rupees. Now, based on this value, the insurance premium will be decided. Now, we've taken both of the cars and assumed a comprehensive insurance, and this is what it looks like. The 3-year comprehensive cover for Creta includes own damage premium, third-party premium, personal accident cover, add-ons, and an 18% GST. The insurance amounts to 79,000 for 3 years, so that's about 26,300 per year. And for the Audi, it amounts to 23,600 rupees a year. Now, since this is a used car, you'll be renewing your insurance every single year and the cost will also keep coming down because the car is aging. But because of that, the repairs and maintenance will go up and that will be out of pocket. Of course, if you're able to find a zero-dep insurer and you get that insurance, then you can take care of that. But this is something that if you're buying a second-hand car, you have to make sure of. Now, here's the final parameter, parameter 4. Putting this all together and figuring out how much is this actually costing for each of these two cars. Now, let's project this ownership over the next 5 years because that's when the real cost of ownership happens, right? So let's start with the Audi. The cost is going to be 20.32 lakhs if you take a loan to buy the car. Then is the fuel of the car. And I've also assumed a 6% increase in the cost of fuel because these prices keep going up. So the total cost after 5 years is 6 lakh rupees. Then we have insurance. We'll assume a 10% depreciation on the car every year. So the cost here is 96,100 rupees for insurance alone. Next, we've assumed maintenance cost, and this is about 6.34 lakh rupees over the next 5 years. This is obviously the highest cost that you can see because luxury car, expensive. So total cost of ownership is nearly 33.68 lakh rupees for the Audi. Now let's see the new car. The same thing, the cost is 18.14 lakhs if you take a loan. The fuel cost is 4.97 lakhs. The insurance is 26,000 a year. So that's about 97,000 rupees for 5 years. The maintenance cost is only 1.8 lakh rupees because a new car is easier to maintain, obviously. Now, if you remember, the new car, we assume there is no service cost in the first year, but after that, the costs actually begin. We've included 10,000 rupees every year for the next 4 years. So the total cost of ownership is 25.90 lakhs. So the difference between the two is, hold up. Now you are either one of two users who's watched this entire damn video. Either you're really hardcore researching and figuring it out, or you can't afford the car. So maybe you shouldn't buy it right now. Leave it somewhere in the future and then you can decide because the difference between these two on the Excel sheet is 7.78 lakh rupees.